And we are live. All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Dylan, a co-founder of PeakBot, joined by my co-founder and co-host Ben, and also a special guest today, Arlissa from E2T, Educator to Trader. Arlissa, thank you so much for joining us here to discuss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's nobody better to talk option selling with than you. And I don't know if there's anybody better to talk automated option selling than this crew altogether right here. So
Yes.
excited to get into it. A little bit of an impromptu show.
We
I
didn't
know
tell
we got
anybody about
on,
this.
on all of our channels and a couple of the E2T channels as well. So just for a quick agenda here, if you will. There's a couple things we're going to be discussing today, of course, around the world of automated option selling. First, we're going to talk about the problem that a lot of retail traders face and the struggles they face and how 90% of them are failing. And then the solution that we're looking to provide here with our automated trading platform, as well as E2T's incredible education around option selling. We'll talk a little bit more about how to use PeakBot, and Arlissa will have a couple comments on how she uses PeakBot as an active trader as well. We'll discuss a couple updates from a broker standpoint as far as our integration partners. We are getting up and live and connected to more and more brokers here as we go, which is exciting. We want to get this, access in the hands of everybody. We'll take a look at our strategies. We've automated well-known, time-tested option selling strategies like the wheel, the iron condor, and we'll talk about our new trend spread strategy that we're all very excited about. And I think that's it from an agenda standpoint. So I'll be sharing my screen here in a little bit to give a quick PeakBot demo, how simple it is to use. Ben and Arlissa, feel free if you'd like to share your screen at any time, just throw it up. We'll get it on screen here. So, yeah, I think that's it. What I'd like to do is maybe Arlissa, I know I'm throwing you on the spot here, but to introduce you again to our audience, I'd love if you can give a little bit of background on yourself and E2T and what you got going on.
Cool. Thank you for that. I'm Arlissa Pinkleton. I am the educator to trader, and I end up with that name because I am an educator. I am a mathematics professor at the University of North Florida. Before that, I was an engineer. And so as I worked in education for a little while, I did kind of transitioned into starting to trade and becoming a very active trader. I started off trading options as a seller and learned the different skills. I've really felt like selling was a straightforward, I could say a straightforward path to the bag. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But I started off, I felt like the steps to being an option seller were pretty straightforward. And then I expanded myself and learned how to trade as a buyer of options. I did that for a little while, won some money, lost some money, and decided I better go back to being a seller. So I went back to selling. I came up with a strategy several years back that would help us to use the iron condor or credit spreads on SPY and triple Q and IWM actually. And that's back when they were 1 DTE, like when you opened on Monday. I mean, it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday were the expirations. And then along the way, it became every day. But with that strategy, we started a community at the Educator to Trader community. Hey to the E2T group. We started that community, and basically just a community of sellers. And we do covered calls and cash secure puts, and we do credit spreads. Credit spreads is kind of our bread and butter. We do the other things as well, but selling is just our lane. And for a long time, there was, there's all kind of bots and all kind of automated people who are checking for those option buyers, but nobody's looking out for the option sellers. I was like, look, we over here too. Some people don't know that there is a thing called option selling. They're like, what do you mean? You're selling the option that you bought? No, you're starting as a seller. So, but that's where we are. So my community's here. They're hanging out with us as well. We got a good crew of people who hang out and trade with us. You all are on my YouTube channel, so you can see that we do some coaching and teaching and training on YouTube as well, and have other different ways that we teach and train how to be an option seller. That's me.
Fantastic. Well, that's very helpful. I think, truthfully, more of our PeakBot traders and our subscribers need to go check out Arlissa and her channel and her community. She's fantastic at making sure you're actually understanding what's going on with our automated strategies. And there's some more content to come between these groups here. So, and hopefully, Ben and I, co-founders of PeakBot, we're everyday guys. We are chasing the dream here. We're full-time on PeakBot, getting this business off the ground. We have yes, thank you. We have a great community of automated option sellers over here. And our whole goal was to make it easy, affordable, and transparent for the everyday person with a basic knowledge of options trading to be able to trade hands-free, like Wall Street and hedge funds have been trading for decades. And we'll get more into that. So first, I'm going to share my screen here. And Ben, if I missed anything, please feel free to pick up my slack here. But I think what we want to cover first, and I'm actually going to be pulling this right off one of our presentations. I want to share one of the main problems, and we can talk through this, that the retail trader faces. I'll talk through the problem, and then I'll open it up to Ben and Arlissa to talk maybe through our solution here. So the famous question, right? How can someone who works a 9-to-5 job successfully trade in a market that's only open from 9:30 to 4? Maybe not something you're thinking about every day, but once you give that some thought, it starts to be like, boy, this stock market really wasn't built for the everyday person, right? So a sad fact is 90% of retail traders fail, mostly due to the lack of time, strategy, and knowledge, and discipline, right? Getting the emotions involved. Is that relatable to both you and, Ben, you and Arlissa? I mean, I don't know how anybody does this, unless you're hearing a stock chart all day long, and even then it's tough. What do you guys
That's why
think?
PeakBot started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely difficult because, I mean, for me, I teach at the college level, so I'm not in the classroom all day like someone is who's teaching, like third graders or fifth graders or whatever. But in the midst of, I may get into a nice little rhythm of looking at something that's trade based, and then I need to step away for another hour and a half, and I literally have to put my attention, onto the task at hand. I have eyes just staring at you like, what's next, teacher? And it's not like I can check out in the middle of a problem and be like, well, let me go check my stock. Let me go check my broker real quick to make sure my trade isn't going in the tank. It's difficult. It's definitely difficult.
Absolutely. And so kind of leading into this, right, why PeakBot started, and was because we wanted to provide a solution here, right? So Ben, maybe I'll kick it to you to talk through some of the solution here.
Yeah, I mean, so the solution, and going back to my own personal experience, the solution was born out of, a need that I had. And, when I started working full time, I had traded a bunch in college and I loved it, and it became one of my passions. But as soon as I started working full time and I was working that 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever it might be, my trading suffered, and I tried to keep up with it. But like Arlissa was saying, there's just certain times that you can't get to your screen and place a trade, and you wind up getting yourself into bad positions, get yourself in trouble. So the whole automation aspect of it was really great. And, at that time too, I wasn't option selling at that time. I was just trading equities. So I was looking at all these different equities strategies, and ultimately taught myself how to develop these automations and developed my strategies, put them into this automation. There's an automation software within TradeStation. It doesn't exist anymore, but there was an app store that TradeStation had. And if you go way back, I don't know if you could find the archives of the internet somewhere, you'll find our first bots, if you will, in the TradeStation app store. Kind of cool to think back at how far we've come. But yeah, I mean, that's that's what it was born out of. I had a lack of time. My trading was suffering, and an automation tool like this allowed me to, keep up with the active trading that I wanted to have. And the side effects for me, and these might be, the main benefits for others, were I got to stick to a strategy and I kept my emotion off the table. And
Ah,
that was that was something that I wasn't necessarily thinking would be a benefit, but was, because there were plenty of times, and Dylan, you know this, you've watched me trade many times. If I see that there's profit on the table, I'm conservative by nature, so I'll just take that profit off the table, and then a stock would continue to run. Like, Dylan, how many times have you seen me do that?
Too many.
Um,
yeah.
and then as it comes to like cutting losses, cutting those off a little bit too quick sometimes too, and you just wind up taking too many losses. So removing the emotion from that, making my trading strategy and pattern more consistent, those were side effects. The time aspect for me was what really got me. And then, all of the benefits of automation really started to kick in. And then we moved into selling. We did that about a year ago. We decided, like, hey, we're going to really focus in on option selling. I think statistically, it's got the highest probability of winning. And the beauty about options is and Alyssa, you could speak to this as well. Like, it's all math based, and we won't nerd out too much, but we could talk about probability and statistics. And I just really like opening a position, knowing that statistically I've got a 70% chance of winning. I like knowing what my win potential is. I like knowing what my maximum loss is. So, like, when you factor all of this in, you can almost, I don't want to say predict, but you can almost like predict out what your earnings could be over a really long period of time.
Yep. Yeah.
I think too, what happens, I think one of the things that happens is when you're distracted in the midst of a trade, and then as soon as you step back into it, your brain clicks back in, it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction to whether you see the green or the red. It's a knee-jerk, and you're like, what do I do? Oh, I see green. I better go ahead and close this trade. Or you're like, oh my goodness, it's red. And then but if it's red, I don't want to close it too fast. Let me give it some more time. And it's really because you've now disconnected, the continual focus from the trade. But I mean, I've tried with our community, I continue to try that we really like lean into strategies from the most passive to the most active. And then, I have a quiz that helps people to direct them to figure out what's the best trading strategy for you and your current situation. Because depending on, if you're at a 9 to 5, or are you, during the day, are you free to look at the screens? Do you have that kind of bandwidth and that kind of time? So those things are, those things shift from day to day and from week to week even. So as you have to select what's the best thing to do. And that's because we're manually doing it. If we had, and we do now have something where you're using something that's automated, that's going to, you pick the stock and it's going to, do all the other stuff for you. So that really gives you a peace of mind when the trade is running. Hey, that's a kind of a no-brainer.
You nailed it. And, we can teach, how to keep emotions out of it as much as we'd like. The reality of doing so consistently over time, very hard to do, right? And so we just wanted to, again, like I said earlier, Wall Street and hedge funds, they've been using algorithms to execute trades. I think it's something, there's a statistic out there, you won't quote me on this, but 75% of all trades executed in this country are executed by an algorithm. 3 out of 4.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You could quote Kathy Wood on that. I think she said that one time.
I heard her say it on Twitter in a space with Elon. I was like, hey, this is good info. But it's true. It's just like, it's 2024, right? It's ridiculous that there's no household name for automated trading, and we believe that it's due to the fact that nobody's really made it easy, made it affordable, and has been transparent about it. And that's really the staples of PeakBot. So I think it would maybe be a good time to talk about the platform and the different strategies that we've chosen to automate. So with PeakBot, by the way, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. let us know. We're happy to answer questions here live. You can also text us at the number on screen. But
hey, let's give away some T-shirts to our Alyssa's audience. If
I like that.
if our Alyssa's audience has questions, if you guys ask a question, text this number on screen with your name and mailing address. We'll send you a PeakBot T-shirt.
And you can put your question live in the chat, but just make sure we have your contact info so you can text us. Did we already get one come through? Can we see a demo? Fixed question, but you know what? We might just have to roll with it. Feel free to text us. Let's get into a demo now. So I'll share my screen and we'll get into it. So
there's another question there too.
Awesome.
Okay, fantastic.
Everybody asking questions, text the number on screen. I'll order you guys a T-shirt. I'll need your address.
Amazing. So you know what? Before the demo, why don't we just answer Janae's question here? I'll throw it on screen. Can you get into a trade on Wednesday with PeakBot to expire the same week? It's a bit dicey getting out on a Friday. How reliable is it? So Ben, I can kick that to you. I'll give like the high level answer.
Sure.
With the wheel strategy. In fact, right now, there's not currently a strategy that will enter on Wednesday through PeakBot. We have the wheel in which enters on Mondays and Tuesdays. Our Iron Condor currently as it's set up, and we're going to talk about the new approach that we're taking there and testing. That currently enters 1 DTE on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then the trend spread bot, which you'll see here, which is in testing, and we'll talk a little bit more about, has entries on Fridays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. So right now, no, but our new Iron Condor strategy, and maybe now is just a good time to talk about that, will actually be entering daily. It's 1 DTE, but it enters Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Ben, we were actually just talking about this with our Alyssa earlier today. Do you want to kind of just get into the new strategy and how that's looking and how you?
I'm gonna say let's do that in just a minute because the people are asking for a demo here. Let's give them the demo.
Let's give a demo. You're right. Okay, so this is the PeakBot home screen here. I'll put it on the banner at the bottom. We do offer a 2-week free trial. And Ben, maybe put this in the chat. Make sure we get our Alyssa's coupon code in there. E2T, all caps, okay? 50% off. I believe it's 50% off for your first subscription, whether that be quarterly or annually. So
It is.
Fantastic. So the demo, don't blink, you might miss it, okay? It's that easy, all right? So right here where it says add new stock, as you can see underneath here, this is my automated portfolio. So this is essentially all the trades that I've had PeakBot activate for me this week. Now, this PeakBot budget, just a quick disclaimer, if you will, this is not your account balance. This is not your overall gain loss. This is how many dollars that you're allocating toward these trades in case you're assigned the shares, okay, etc. But we'll leave it there for now. So all I got to do to add a new stock, okay, is click on it, and in 3 steps, you're in and you're out of here. Again, the bot actually places the trade for you. It's integrated with your broker account. So Schwab, TDA, you know, that whole merger, Tradier, Tasty Trade. We have a couple others coming, E-Trade, etc., Webull, Public. So those are all in the pipeline. But 3 steps. First step, select the strategy that you'd like to trade. I'm going to stick with the wheel. That is where about 90% of our traders are. So we're going to go with the wheel strategy. We can talk a little bit more about that strategy if anybody has questions. Step 2, pick stocks from the watch list, okay? You can click on view watch list here and it'll actually pop up this screen here for you, in which I've actually opened up separately so we can see the full list. So this watch list here, we're actually providing you almost with a heat map, if you will. All right, so think of a traffic light. Green means go, yellow means take caution, and red means stop. So what we've done here is we've prioritized this list from risk level as well as the trend of the stock. So you'll see it's all low risk stocks, and then we get into moderate risk and high risk. Now these are weekly expiring options contracts. And for this one specifically, with the wheel strategy, we have the ability to do it unhedged, just normal cash secured puts and covered calls, or we can hedge it with credit spreads where we're selling a put credit spread or a call credit spread. We're going to look at the spread here. So just as a super quick example, let's say we're looking at, I don't know, DoorDash here or Micron
Dylan, can you zoom in just a little bit?
I can try to zoom in. Yes. Let me get that done here. Is that better?
One more.
Okay. All right. So now that we're here, I'm trying to find a stock that's still above. All right, let's go with Fu2 here. So Fu2 Holdings, it's trading at 63.98. We have all the information, including the trend of the stock, the risk level, the max loss, how much cash you need, how much you're earning in premium, and finally your strike prices. So with the wheel, we're selling the 30 delta and buying the 10 for a put credit spread. So all I need to do is come back into my PeakBot app and type in Fu2, and it's going to pop up for me. Okay. Now you're never limited to how many stocks you can trade. You can go crazy. If it's on the watch list and you can afford it, you can add it to PeakBot. Okay. For this example, I'll just do the one. And finally, the final step here is your budget. How many contracts or spreads do you want to sell? This is where PeakBot will limit you. If your 2-week free trial, you can do 1 contract or spread per stock on as many stocks as you want. At a high level with our pro subscription, you can go up to 10. Nobody's doing more than 10 on a single stock. So as you can see, the number in yellow below the budget will adjust based on the number of spreads that I want to enter. Okay. So from here, all I got to do is hit activate. I agree. And that stock is going to be added into my automated portfolio, which you'll see here in just a second. And you are ready to rock and roll. So here's Fu2. It's now added in. It's Wednesday, as we already kind of discussed. There's not going to be an entry on this until next Monday. That's the next time the trading window opens for our wheel strategy. But it's that simple to get a stock added. It's even easier to remove one. You can pause, play, remove, or unhedge your position. And that's really the only time you're coming into the PeakBot app. If you want to add or remove a stock, of course, you can track your results in your trade log. If we want to see, how much I earned this week in premium, all that's laid out here for us. It'll also show you your realized gains and losses once a position is officially closed. So anything I missed, Ben or Lisa? I know you guys are obviously as familiar.
No, I think you're good. If we want to hop into the strategies, we can do that.
Let's do it. And before we do so, I'd like to ask Arlissa, what's your favorite strategy that you currently use with PeakBot? Are you mostly on the wheel? You doing the Condor?
I was doing the wheel, and my community as well doing the wheel, and we've been a part of PeakBot Picks and all of that. We were doing the wheel, but then now that the trend spread is coming on board, I am now beta testing the trend spread, and that's gonna, I know, quickly become my favorite. Because it'll go both ways, because I like the wheel because it's doing from the put side. I really like that. And the watch list makes that pretty simple for you because you can see that it's bullish or bearish, and we just basically don't pick the bearish ones. But now with the trend spread, there were some things like even last week, there was some stocks that we looked at in our charting and was like, this kind of would fit a call credit spread better than it would have put credit spread this week. And so if we had, now that I'm testing the trend spread, it's going to be great because the bot is going to determine for us which way it should go, which side we should trade, right? So that's going to be good.
That's right. And if you're ever in question, you could go to this watch list here. Actually, Dylan, we did have a question come up.
Sure.
I'm going to put it on screen here.
Yeah.
Does PeakBot give suggestions? Short answer is no. We're not financial advisors. However, we do provide this watch list. And on this watch list, we lay out the risk reward for all of these tickers. And this watch list is what we're looking at right now. It's built for our wheel strategy. I'm currently working on the watch list for the trend spread strategy. They'll be pretty similar. We actually have a lot of people that use this watch list and don't use PeakBot at all. They just use the watch list, get the data, because we update this every hour. They get the data and they go off and they place manual trades, which we love. Go ahead and use it. It's free.
Yeah. What I do, Ben, is I come to PeakBot. I'm not sure if you all see my graphic that I put out every Sunday, but I come to PeakBot and look at what's on the list. And I use PeakBot as the foundation for the list that I put out to my community every Sunday. I do the charting and look at, and I may give different strikes for the trades, but I start with the PeakBot watch list.
I love it. I love it.
It's a good foundation, a way to save time, right? We're pulling the top 50 to 150 most liquid option chains here. So, we want to make sure your order is going to get filled, whether you're doing it through PeakBot or you're doing it manually. And we're playing a little bit of defense there for you, right? So, a quick note, anything that's highlighted blue here, they have earnings this week. So we're not telling you not to do it because we can't give financial advice. We're just telling you, hey, keep an eye out on this. This is probably going to be more volatile than usual this week due to the earnings.
I have a point about this. Speaking of the trend spread bot.
Yeah.
It enters on Fridays, but that watch list on Fridays, it does not think about, I don't say at this point, it doesn't think about next Friday, because I'm thinking when I looked at Exxon, I did this week on my trend spread, I did Exxon last Friday. And then this week I saw that earnings is on this Friday. You know what I'm saying? So maybe just a note for us to put that in there.
Oh, definitely. When the trend spread watch list comes out, we're gonna flip to next week's information on Wednesdays. So when Wednesday hits, like right now, we're flipping to next week's information on Saturdays because the wheel enters on Monday, so we give 2-day lead time to actually get in. So it'll flip on Wednesdays to give us a 2-day lead time to get on a Friday. So I'm working on it. That's my project for this week. Actually, it's been pretty cool. I've been using ChatGPT to help me code a Google app script to pull all of this data in from different data sources. So, shout out to GPT.
Shout out to ChatGPT, OpenAI. Love it.
Maybe we can get some GPT t-shirts. I'd like one of those.
That'd be cool.
So, and talking about GPT and AI, a lot of people assume that what we're doing here is AI trading. I'd love to say that it is. I'd love to just please you and tell you this is AI. That's how the bots are being coded. Well, that's how the trades are being placed. It's not. This is boring old algorithmic trading. Again, this is how institutional traders have been doing it for a very long time. Do we use AI in our business? Of course. Day to day, we use it to help code our strategies, update our strategies, do a million different administrative and copywriting type things. But let's talk about the trend spread. So with trend spread, I'll give the basics and then I'll let these two kind of get into it, the details. It's similar to the wheel in that weekly expiring contracts, okay? The earliest you can enter is on a Friday with it expiring the following Friday. However, the beauty of the trend spread bot is a couple things. In its name, it's trading spreads and it's trading with the trend. So right now, if we were to look at our watch list here, with the wheel strategy, if you don't own shares, you're going to sell a put credit spread, regardless of the trend, whether it's bullish, neutral, or bearish. We're selling a put credit spread for you if you don't own the shares. And if you do own the shares, we're going to be selling a call credit spread, which we have more data on the right-hand side. However, with the trend spread bot, what we're doing is we're taking this trend into consideration and we're trading with it. Meaning, if it's bullish that week, which by the way, our trend is based on the 67-day EMA, essentially the 3-month EMA. So if it's bullish, the bot will sell a put credit spread. If it's bearish, the bot will sell a call credit spread, regardless of whether or not you own the shares. And if it's neutral, as of right now in testing, we will sell an iron condor for you, okay, for that week. So it trades with the trend. The other big deal is that it's designed to not get assigned shares. So what we mean by that is we're going to be rolling contracts here. Okay, so Ben, I'll kick it to you for the details on that. On Fridays, around noon Eastern, we're going to be closing and opening and moving it back to the following Friday.
That's right.
So, okay, I got it. So we, again, at 12 o'clock on Fridays, we'll be closing the current contract, opening the new one. There are very few instances, I think this is worth mentioning, where yes, you can be assigned shares if the buyer chooses to exercise early for whatever reason, but it's designed to not get assigned. And we will probably in the future work in something into our logic to where if you do get assigned, we'll have a way to work.
The only time you would ever really get assigned is if there was like a ticker that was paying out a dividend or something, and
Right.
the holder of that contract wanted to exercise early, and you just happened to be on the other end of that. Very rare that it does happen, but funny enough, when Dylan and I were talking about it like 2 weeks ago, one of our beta testers wound up getting assigned early. So yeah, definitely a possibility. But just keep an eye out if that does happen. Just close your position as normal. You still get to keep the premium, which is nice. So it's just something to keep an eye out for.
Doesn't the assignment and the exercising, does it only happen after hours? I think I read somewhere or saw somewhere that it only happened when the market was closed.
Yep. Yeah. So if you hold a contract, let's say you're holding a call, you bought a call, and the stock that you held the call for was reporting or was paying out a dividend tomorrow or the X date was tomorrow. You might want to exercise your option early so that way you get the shares and then you get that dividend payment. Yeah, exactly. So that's another trading strategy, and actually something that we thought about in terms of automating at PeakBot. But yeah, it's in those instances where you could get assigned early, and I don't know how those get paired up. I don't know how you get paired with somebody who exercises early or not. Right. So it could happen, but no need to spend as much time as we spent on that for this, because it's very rare that it does happen. But the cool thing about trend spread is, again, trading spreads opening on Fridays. If you miss Friday, we'll open for you on Monday. If you miss Monday, we'll open for you on Tuesday. So lots of forgiveness there. And then on Friday, when it comes time to roll, I use air quotes for roll because we're not actually rolling in the strategy. We're closing and then opening. And so it's not technically a roll.
Which is a roll, really.
Right. And the reason it's not is because the trend spread will change direction for you. So if you were selling a put credit spread in 1 week and the direction of the stock changed, and now we've moved from a bullish to a bearish trend, well, the trend spread is going to close out of that position on Friday and then open up a call credit spread because now the trend is bearish. So it's going to do all of that for you.
Wow.
I'm guessing by your reaction, Arlissa, you didn't know that.
I didn't know that part. I didn't know it would change directions for you, because a roll, I mean, when you're rolling something, you basically are closing and reopening at a different place. And I just assumed it would be just a roll in the same direction. I definitely didn't know that it could flip direction on you. Wow.
It'll flip.
We're flipping.
Flip.
Fantastic. So yeah, look, that's a very highly anticipated strategy. And the reason why we initially came up with this strategy is because, we had a chink in our armor, and that was the fact that with a bearish market or, bearish stocks that were being selected, you were exposed, right? The wheel is naturally a neutral to bullish strategy. The iron condor, perfectly neutral. We needed something for the bears. Of course, we try to prevent that. We all want the market to go up, but hey, if you're going to utilize this as a tool, we got to be able to have your back in any market.
Got to be able to play both sides.
We got to play both sides. So
that's right.
That is the new update on trend spread. Again, it's live in beta right now. You won't hold me to a date here. It'll likely be released within the next few weeks, maybe a month or so.
We're working on getting Schwab released and everything. The last migration date from TD to Schwab is May 10th, so we got to make sure we're all buttoned up there. And then trend spread will get released shortly after that. If you do have a PeakBot account and you're comfortable with PeakBot, shoot us a message, ask to be part of the trend spread beta group. it's a growing group. It seems like each week we get another 10 requests to join that group. So we're definitely still letting people in. I'm happy to let people in, of course, with the understanding that, we're still in beta. Something could go wrong. So just keep an eye out. And you're only, it is free, and you're only allowed to trade one contract per stock. So those are the terms of that. But yeah, feel free to reach out. But Dylan, what do you say we talk about the new Iron Condor strategy? Then you could take us to the promised land after that.
Yeah, why don't you get started with it? And I'm actually going to pull up the thread that we had posted on Twitter just for a visual for these people. So I'm getting that up. But yeah, go for it.
All right. So right now, PeakBot automates an Iron Condor strategy. And what we do is we will enter an Iron Condor position on either the SPY or the Qs on Tuesdays or Thursdays. We'll set our contracts at 1 DTE, and our spreads will straddle the 20 delta. Now, we do have an adjustment built in currently. We're going to remove that adjustment, but the adjustment is if the stock price breaches either side, either spread, then we'll close out the far side and we'll actually form an iron fly. And that's to just get ourselves a little bit more premium and mitigate our losses just a little bit. However, we found that through some more testing, back testing and forward testing, that actually lent ourselves to take a little bit more losses than we wanted to see. So we're adjusting this strategy. I actually really like the new strategy. I've been trading it manually for, I think today was the 36th trading day. I've been trading it. So almost 2 months of trading. And Dylan's got the thread here. You could check the thread out on our Twitter account. That's @usepeakbot. I am posting, just started yesterday, but I am going to be posting results for this every day. You could go back and see all my past results for it. It's all in this thread. But I'm going to be posting results in this on Twitter every day for the new Iron Condor strategy that we are automating. I squeaked out with a win today. It was a small win. I'll post that tomorrow morning when all my numbers come through on my broker. But anyways, the new strategy, we're still selling 1 DTE. We're expanding the available tickers from SPY and Qs. We're going to include SPX. We're going to include any ticker that has daily expiring options. I know our list is pumped about SPX. So we're going to be including any tickers with daily expiring options. The strategy is going to sell condors straddling the 25 delta. Again, 1 DTE, 25 delta. And then what's going to happen is after the market closes, the bot's going to set a good till cancel limit order. Now that, of course, that order is only going to be good for 1 day because we're 1 DTE. But the order to close is going to be set at 5 cents. So most of the time, at least from what I've seen in my testing, my forward testing, is that at the bell or shortly after the bell, 1 leg will typically close. 1 leg will have lost enough value to where we can close at 5 cents and we'll take our gain there. And that's great. I love when that happens because that gives the rest of the day for theta to kick in on the other leg and for the stock price to just move further away from that side of the spread. So a few quick stats on that. Like I said, 35 trading days today. I opened 36. I've won 60% of my trades. I've won 21 days, lost 14 days. My average win on one contract or one condor rather is 31.58. My average loss is 45.09. So a 60% win rate. My average win is 31.58. Average loss is 45.09. A little bit different from what's on the screen here, just because I put in today's data. Now, Dylan, I want you to zoom in on the fees there. On day 29 of testing, the fees on the screenshot that you've got up there.
Sorry.
On day 29, I switched testing from Thinkorswim. I was trading on the Thinkorswim platform to Tradier. So shout out to our partners at Tradier, great brokerage. They have a premium plan that if you pay them $10 a month, you get commission-free options trading. So I wish I had done that for the beginning of this journey, because as you see here, I spent about $130 on fees. And that could be $10 if I was doing that on Tradier the whole time. So if you are interested in creating a Tradier account, go to usepeakbot.com/Tradier. You can get started with them and get automating with PeakBot today. So again, just quick shout out. I didn't even mean for that to be a plug for them, but it was so impactful in terms of, I mean, if you look at my numbers here, the capital needed to do this every day is only $124, right? Because you're opening a dollar wide spread because we're straddling the 25 delta. So that just naturally forms a dollar spread. And, you're earning premium off of one side, and that premium is going to be guaranteed from one of the legs. So really on each side of the trade, you're only, at most you're using $62 in margin, right? So I like to say I'm trading with $124 here. If you look at my stats that were just up on screen, made like $94 or something like that. And then the fees were $130. So if you add that together, it's like $210. That's, almost a 200% gain on this strategy. So I'm very excited for this to come out. I know our list is excited for this to get released. The last bit that I didn't mention is before I had said we set our closing entries at 5 cents. Now, what happens if that leg doesn't get down to 5 cents? Well, at 3:45 Eastern, so 15 minutes before the bell, we're going to cancel that order, and then we're just going to put in a market order for you to make sure that position closes. There's no assignments. I know on SPX there wouldn't be any assignments, but for like SPY and Qs, no assignments to worry about. You'll get out of the position. You'll take whatever loss if there's a loss. Sometimes it'll close out and there's still a gain. That actually happened today to me. And you'll already be holding your position for tomorrow because you get in every day at 12 o'clock. So really fun strategy. I have been enjoying trading this, and I'm excited to automate it because I try every day to get in at 12, but life gets in the way.
Yeah. So what is the delta that you get in? And you might have said this. What's the delta that you get in for that? You said 25?
Yeah. So I'm going to sell right above the 25. So that typically, if we're looking at the exact numbers here, it typically ends up being around like 27, 28, 29. And then I'm going to buy right below the 25. And that's usually 24, 23, 22.
So tell us too, what kind of percent, because I told you, I kind of have our folks to shoot for at least 10% return on their money, which generally could take us to the 20 delta, depending on those things. So what are you looking at as far as premiums that you're taking each day for your $100 of collateral?
Great question. Dylan, can you go to the most recent post that I put up on Twitter for Iron Condor? It should be from this afternoon. That one right there. Yeah, blow that picture up. So this was my Iron Condor trade today. You can see right in the middle at the top, my credit was 46 cents. So that's a $46 premium on this Condor. And I believe the call side, the sold call, was right at the 29 delta. So statistically, looking at the 29 delta, I've got a 71% chance of that expiring out of the money and me winning the trade. The put side was a little bit lower delta. I think it was like 27. So I just take the higher delta and then I use that to figure out what my probability of profit is. So it's about a 71% chance of winning, collect 46 cents. So $46 in premium. And that makes my max loss only $54, which is nice.
So is this the current Iron Condor, or this is the one you're working on that's going to be new?
This is the one that I'm working on. This is the one that I'm trading manually. I'm documenting the whole journey now on Twitter, so that way everybody can follow along.
You're trying to get me really excited.
We're gonna get this live, and of course, 1DTE, Ben, and our Alyssa, that's where we like it right now. Obviously, the 0DTE craze is, everywhere. But for the way we'd like to get this set up to minimize your risk, to give you some level of set it and forget it and not having to worry about it within the same day, 1DTE is where we like it right
And you put in more premiums, even if you're doing for the next day. I mean, just like it costs more money to buy contracts for one DTE, it definitely, you're going to pull in more premiums to sell
Yep.
for one DTE.
That's
What
right.
we ran into before was our issue was if the stock ran hard in one direction, you basically had to do a lot of, I won't say maneuvering, but you had to manage it for yourself. Now you've got some things in place that are going to kind of mitigate that for us. So this sounds like a good deal.
It sure is. And obviously, like, for me, the layman here, the repeat loser in the stock market for years until, we started PeakBot. This is a blessing, right? It's like, I know just enough about this stuff to be dangerous. Anybody who's, come on and chatted with me, I know what's going on, but I could never try to consistently do this manually. I just couldn't. Right? So this is built for traders of all experience levels, right? Sure, the target is that hobby trader, somebody who's too busy with their job and their life and their family. But look, the active trader, our Alyssa, her students, a lot of our subscribers, a lot of our other partners, they are looking at charts all day. And we're not telling you not to. Keep doing your manual trading, but there's no reason this shouldn't be operating for you in the background, right?
Right.
It's not need to be anybody's entire investment strategy. It's the perfect supplement to any existing strategy, right? So again, just as a reminder, we are integrated with TD Ameritrade, which will soon be Schwab. We're starting our Schwab beta testing next week in order to have it up and ready for when TDA goes night-night, and it's just Schwab. Tasty Trade is our newest integration. We're up on Tradier, as we mentioned. They're great partners. And that's it for right now. We got E-Trade, Public, Webull, and we're shooting for interactive brokers, all in the pipeline to come. It's been approved. It's just a matter of getting that integration built out. So if you trade options or sell options on any broker that we have not mentioned here today, let us know. We'll make a call and we'll see if we can get up and running.
Good old Robin Hood. Yeah.
Truthfully, we say it right on our website. That's the one that's not available. And the reason is they don't have a public API. And that's how we do this, right? We're fully transparent. We connect into the broker's APIs, and that's where we're placing the trade to have it executed through your broker. Look, right now they don't have one available. Webull, the reason why they're in the pipeline is because they're releasing their public API. I think most would agree that Webull's probably the closest thing you can find in the market to Robinhood. So, I think there's a trend happening here. I'm not, not going to say you heard it here first, but I bet at some point in the future, Robinhood does, they could release an API to allow for third-party integration to automate trades for their traders. We know a lot of people love trading options on Robinhood.
Because of the fees. I mean, those low fees are definitely a draw.
Yeah, absolutely. And they make it simple. Not as simple as a bot doing it for you, but for manually, they do make it pretty simple. I see Janae mentioned TradeStation. Funny enough, I think we might have mentioned this earlier in the show. TradeStation is where we started PeakBot. I mean, that's where this all started with their coding language, easy language, and their platform. There might be a future where we get back there. We've worked with a couple of their partners, but truthfully, Ben, do they allow only 3 entries a day?
Yeah, you could turn that off, but that was our biggest limitation is if you have an account with them, if you make an account, you're by default you're marked as not a pattern day trader. And if you've got that mark on your account, then they will only let you open 3 trades or 3 positions per day. And they do that because it's pattern day trading protection. They choose to put their protection on the buy side versus the call side, which almost all other brokers have their day trading protection on the sell side, not the call side. They have their day trading protection on the sell side. So because theirs is on the buy side, that really limits, what you can do with PeakBot, because we don't want you just to get into 3 positions a day. I mean, you look at the wheel and, we've got people that are getting into like 15 positions on a Monday. And there's, you could do 3 positions on Monday, 3 positions on Tuesday, but then you limit it to 6 per week, and that's no good. So, we've talked to them about how we can remove that, and it is simple for somebody to just call them and say, hey, can you remove the pattern day trading protection from my account? They'll do it for you, no questions asked. But if you don't know to do that, then it's just a point of friction, and then people will start getting mad at Dylan because they're like, Dylan, you said I could trade all these stocks. I can only trade 3. And we don't need Dylan getting nasty text messages. He gets enough of those from me already.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, no, TradeStation, there's, who knows, but as of right now, no. But again, if there's anything else, let us know. To anybody who's international watching this, I don't know if we have anybody, but we are available through Tasty Trade and Tradeer internationally. There are some countries that are not available. We can't crack the code for Canada. For any of our friends up north, we're looking to get on Interactive Brokers for that. But anyway, I want to make sure that we can mention, and I'll put this maybe in the chat or as part of our banner, please go check out Arlissa's YouTube channel, Educator to Trader. Just fantastic content there for everybody to check out. I'm going to just put it on screen here. Ben, maybe you can take the link and throw it underneath our tweet on the live stream.
Yeah, I put it on Twitter already.
Okay. So YouTube, just search Educator to Trader. Arlissa's got endless information for option sellers trying to, bring in consistent income, consistent profits. And this is the partnership. I don't know where else you'd want to be here if you're an option seller.
Option sellers unite.
You're right.
Educate, automate, elevate. I mean, that's what we got going on here. So, Arlissa, did you have anything else you'd like to add here before we sign off, or anything we missed?
The biggest thing I'd want to add is just really to wrap it up is just that, you all are swinging for the fences. Basically, are you swinging you're swinging the big baseball bat, because this, this has been a wonderful connection, but I just to see that you all are continuing to look at ways that you're going to be able to, Janae, nobody's going to forget your shirt. Just seeing that you all are continuing to y'all need to send me a shirt too, by the way. But just making sure that you all are continuing to make sure that you can service or really work with the option seller. It just warms my heart. But yeah, many great things too.
We appreciate you saying that.
It's like somebody's asking, does it work with Interactive Brokers? And I think I heard you mention that. But yeah, I feel like that as you all are continuing to make sure that we evolve and we grow, and I'm saying we because we are family. We're growing. We're gonna grow together to make sure that we can service the option sellers in an automated space. We're gonna change with the times and continue to let this part benefit us as well, for sure.
Fantastic. Well, really appreciate you, Arlissa. Expect more to come from this partnership in the future. Just to wrap up, no, we are not on IB. We hope to be in the future. We are not with Robinhood. Man, I hate to end it like this with a bunch of no's, but we're on almost every other platform. So if you have questions about a broker that you use and you want to automate your options trade, just contact us. We can walk you through, get a new broker account set up, hold your hand through the whole process. Educate, automate, elevate. Get a bumper sticker, throw it everywhere, put it on a t-shirt. And we really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. And we will see you at the peak. Take care, everyone.